So guys, an American has written to Trump White House through Sec Rubio, telling Trump to make sure he stop any election rigging in 2027 in Nigeria, that Tinubu is planning to rig the election. Now, let me read out what he wrote. To Sec Rubio, Peter Obi is the best candidate for the president of Nigeria, but he is destined to lose to the corrupt Tinubu unless the voting system is reformed from violence and corruption to free and fair election. Will you enact diplomacy to help? He's telling, then he tapped White House here. He's telling Trump to ensure that there is no election rigging in Nigeria come 2027, guys. And he's writing to Trump through Sec Rubio. Now, this man also went ahead to mention about Tinubu's, drug-related case, guys. He wrote about Tinubu's drug-related case, and this is what he said. He said just some hours ago, Tinubu presented a forged degree to INEC when election paperwork was filed for the 2023 election. I declare this is irrefutable evidence. Tinubu submitted to INEC a forged degree certificate, but INEC doesn't care. This is some of Tinubu's, certificate, the forged one. He attached it there, guys. That's to tell you that American also want Nigeria to succeed, guys. This man is saying Trump should intervene so that there won't be rigging of election in Nigeria, that we want democracy. Now, you must have heard that some APC lawmakers, the APC lawmakers who supported the electoral bill that says transmission of results lifetime will not be compulsory, they are now making U-turn. They are now asking Akpabio to make the transmission of electoral results compulsory. Now, see how this headline captured it. Breaking: frustrated Nigerian senators make a U-turn, insisting on mandatory electronic transmission of results after APC denied them ticket. It is no longer a secret that many Nigerian senators are now strongly advocating for mandatory electronic transmission of election results directly from polling units to the Independent National Electoral Commission server. Interestingly, these are largely the same lawmakers who only months ago supported the position that electronic transmission of results should remain optional rather than compulsory. They supported it now because APC promised them automatic ticket. Now APC refused them ticket. They are now back on the Senate floor demanding for compulsory transmission of result. Guys, you can see all this trap, they set it for Peter Obi, but Peter Obi escaped all of them. Now the trap is catching up with them. Now Babachir Lawal came out accusing Atiku that Atiku does not condemn insecurity. Have you ever heard Atiku Abubakar condemn any of the kidnapping or massive killing across the country? Former SGF Babachir Lawal questioned Atiku Abubakar's capacity to become president. He said Atiku does not condemn Fulani terrorism. He does not condemn them, and that is why Atiku is not qualified to become the president of Nigeria, guys. And what he says, he said, makes a lot of sense. Now you may have heard that allegedly terrorists were found in Lagos, guys, as they came to collect ransom, and guess what, many of the Yorubas, including their vigilante, were able to apprehend them, guys. That's to tell you that the country has gone so low, so down. Anyway, guys, I'm going to allow you to take a look at these videos and let me know your honest reaction in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.
At this point in time, I think it's fair to say that the All Progressives Congress, the ruling party of Nigeria, APC, is technically dead. And I mean irredeemably dead. I believe that a lot of you must have seen the news. It's been trending all day. How that an APC minion who works for the Minister of the Federal Capital of Nigeria, Son Wike, was able to gain an unfettered access into the database of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Isn't that an irony in itself, right? A member of a party that is supposed to be contesting during the elections has an unfettered access into a database that is storing sensitive information about voters, about electorates, about Nigerians. Okay? He gained access to it. And this database is supposed to be one of the most protected in the INEC system. It is supposed to be passworded. It is said to be only accessible to authorized personnel. And this registered APC member is not an official of the so-called Independent Electoral Commission, Independent National Electoral Commission. For years, for months, for weeks, we have been screaming at the top of our lungs, telling all those who care to know that the so-called Independent National Electoral Commission is a tool of the ruling party, is in the pocket of the ruling party. And people say, oh, you are trying to cause trouble in the polity. Just a few days ago, I made a video in which I explained what I believed were imminent possible outcomes if certain things were not corrected. In that same video, I explained how that during this upcoming 2027 elections, that what these guys are going to do, given their antecedents, given what we saw in 2023, is that they're going to start apportioning votes to whoever they care. We saw how the primaries went. Now, was I wrong? If this minion who works with Wike has such an unfettered access to a sensitive database, imagine how many APC members have even more access to that same database, and what on earth they must have been planning to do with that. Tell me now, if you can, how does anyone then confidently proceed to elections knowing that APC has compromised the system that is supposed to ensure that there is a free and fair election in 2027? How do you run to the edge of a cliff knowing that once you get there that you're going to fall off? How? And so I want us to reason together, because I was explaining all of this in my video and people thought I was trying to cause trouble or something. Now they are all playing out. So let us reason together. Let it not be that I'm trying to shove something down your throats. Do you think that it is sane, that it is normal, that it is responsible for any political party in Nigeria to proceed to elections in 2027, given the circumstances, under the circumstances, given the situations and the discoveries that have just been made? Do you think it is reasonable? Second question, if it is not reasonable for us to proceed to elections under this condition, knowing what has happened to the INEC server, which is not a surprise to a lot of us, what then should we do if we don't proceed to elections? Should we then cancel the elections, or should we postpone the elections, or should we then pivot altogether to restructuring, which is what I was trying to explain? You see, some of us see things way ahead before they happen. And when you call it, people think you're being arrogant or that you're trying to cause trouble. We knew that we would get to this point. What do you do in this situation? Because for you to correct what has just been messed up right now, for you to be able to restore hope in the electorate, for you to be able to restore the trust that has been dashed against the stone, and restore credibility that has now been thrown into the ocean, you are definitely going to need a lot of time, probably a number of months. Not the number of months we have between now and election. You're going to need way more than that, because the whole system has to be thrown away. A new system has to be brought in, and then you have to carry all the opposition elements along to show them that you are now operating on a new slate, so that you can build the trust that you have lost and restore the credibility that you have thrown away to the dogs. Are you prepared for that? Do you think the guys we are dealing with in Nigeria, in APC, are going to be willing to do that? Third question. From everything that you have seen so far, given the anger in Nigeria, given the outburst of frustration and anger on social media, given the temper tantrums we've seen going on all over the place, in all honesty, this is not me putting words in your mouth, on your own, do you see President Bola Ahmed Tinubu coming back to rule Nigeria for a second term if we have a free and fair election in 2027? Be honest. I know for sure, most of you, probably 90%, your answer is no. But there are people who will still not agree with this. But the majority, you know that the answer is no. You know that APC is not returning. You know that APC is on its way to the grave. Now, the only thing we should be discussing right now is how do we then minimize the collateral damage that will result from APC's massive collapse that is coming, which is imminent. When you see people trying to destroy a skyscraper that has outlived its use, in order to make sure that the collateral damage is reduced to the barest minimum, they bring professionals who will then carry out a controlled demolition exercise on the building, so that when the building collapses, it collapses inwards and doesn't affect all the other structures around it that are still relevant, are still serving their purposes. How do we do that so that APC does not drag all of us down to the grave with it? So that APC, when it crashes finally and it is confirmed, so that they don't destroy every other structure that is around them. This is what we should be debating. Because if I were Bola Ahmed Tinubu, knowing that the signs show that I am not going to be able to make it back, the most responsible thing to do at this time is to say, you know what? Allow for free and fair election to happen. But knowing who we know, this is most likely not going to happen. And if it doesn't happen and we go to elections, knowing that there is so much sabotage already programmed into INEC, and they now suddenly come out and declare him the winner, what do you think will happen in Nigeria? This was the whole essence of my last video, which I made, and you people thought I was calling for violence.
A big part of your campaign and your public discussions have been about anti-corruption. And I want to read you a quote from the Council of Foreign Relations about Nigeria. For now, the moral compact of Nigerian corruption subsists as follows. The government pretends to fight corruption. Nigerians pretend to take the government seriously. So in a country so mired in graft and corruption, it was seems at every level, including the funnel of funds you just explained to us, how do you plan to bring an end to corruption in a different way than what every other person has said and happened to not do?
Well, issue of corruption can be dealt with decisively. I was just speaking to some people before I came down here. I said, we are what we call UBEC at the center. UBEC gives us money as a state. That money goes to local government, who then gives it to school. So I said to them, so this you are federal government, you are state government, I'm local government, she's the school. So this money goes from him to you, to me, and her. And I said, why can't this money go from here to here and leave these two people? Because what happens, the more this money transits, the lesser it becomes. So I removed that transit point. All those toll gates were removed. Let this money go direct to her. And me and you started complaining, oh no, now we are supposed to supervise that. I said that the money must pass through us so we know whether he spends it right or wrong. I said, no, we can still do it. Our job is supervision. Just give her the money and we'll supervise her. And that made all the difference. Because we are not getting anything from it, our supervision became more thorough. Because we are no longer part of it. So we don't want this person to equally chop anything, so we must see again. So it's a simple thing. If the local government chairman, the governor, the president is not corrupt, so he's not stealing, his family is not doing that, go and check all corrupt leaders. It's either them, their family, or their relations. If you remove these three you reduce it by 70%. Because how does corruption work? He is the president. For example, you are the minister, or you are the wife of the president. I'm the minister. So the president has his own, then the wife has his own with his relation, children, then I add my own. Every other person has their own. Because they know that when it comes back to you, you must approve it. Because everybody's own is included. But if you decide not to be involved, it will be difficult for anybody. The fear will be there. And you can also have a mechanism to check, to ensure that whoever does it doesn't go through the process of rule of law. So it's not something that you tolerate at all. And again, I said to people, I was governor for 8 years. The day I left office as governor, I was not owing pension. I was not owing gratuity. No, wait. I was not owing gratuity. I was not owing salary. I was not owing every supplier who has supplied goods to us. I was not owing any contractor. And I had in 3 banks in Nigeria, which are namely Access Bank, Diamond Bank, and Fidelity Bank. I had in each of these banks, for the Anambra State, I saved in each $50 million, 12 billion naira. It's there. And today you can go, everybody knows that I'm the only person who have saved money as a subnational, and this is in line with my own belief. If you go and read Ngozi Wala's book, Fighting Corruption is Dangerous. It was where he was fighting corruption that the mother was kidnapped. If you read it, Fighting Corruption is Dangerous, go to page 61. When she wanted to save money, every governor in Nigeria as at then was asked to comment whether we should save money or not. What we are going today, Ngozi would have solved it. She was crying and begging that we save the money that was then in our SS crude account, and that she can increase it if we give her authority. All the governors were against it. And she said it there. Governor Peter Obi, who supported saving, was not supported by his colleagues. It's there, page 61. But I saved. So go on.
A critical.
So you can fight corruption. I'm an ex-governor today. Anambra State have never bought me this water since I left. There was no law to back in a place where all other my colleagues have been. They do this, no plot of land. Go and check.
But if you have the interest of your country at heart, I encourage you to watch this video to the very end.
It's still ringing in my ear. In the name of Allah, Hajia, in the name of Allah, accept this appointment. I said, sir, I will not accept the appointment until you tell me what you have for us up north. He invited me to London. I went to London. I sat with him for 2 hours. Most of the time he was sleeping. I asked him what he had for us up north, because we have extremely serious security problems. He told me that he didn't have anything. I said, sir, you mean that you want to be president and you don't even have a blueprint? He said he doesn't have a blueprint. He doesn't have a blueprint according to him, because if I have a blueprint, I'm quoting him now, then I might be killed, and because I'll be stepping on too many toes. I said, sir, in that position that you are looking for, you don't think of death, you don't think of assassination. Anyway, that is gone. But I've been vindicated yesterday. Nigerians should be focused. We have a very, very serious problem. Nigeria is at the brink, especially as it concerns security. You must have an enabling environment in order to do anything. So you cannot take someone that is virtually senile and another person that has been associated on several occasions with funding terrorism. That is Kashim Shettima. Kashim Shettima, we should not forget Kabiru Sokoto. Kabiru Sokoto was one of the most wanted terrorists, and he was found and arrested in his house. Let us understand and let us not forget, this terrorism, this banditry, this carnage is not just happening by mistake. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. A multi-billion-dollar industry because it takes a lot of money on defense budget. It has a lot to do with the sale of drugs. It has a lot to do with mining and illegal bunkering and illegal and illicit mining. And look at the areas that are generally affected by this. Take the Northeast, for instance. In the Northeast, you have the blue diamond. That is a strategic mineral. You have oil at the Chad Basin that is being explored right now, but illegally. You have Zamfara. If you go to Zamfara, Zamfara has more gold than Ghana. Zamfara's gold is being traded in Dubai and other parts of the country. There is a market called Nigerian gold in Dubai. Go and check. So who is doing this mining? Most times they are the governors, the people in power. They are the ones doing it in connivance with foreign mercenaries. Can you remember? Have we forgotten when they said there is a no-fly zone in Zamfara? Why should there be a no-fly zone? There isn't even an airport in Zamfara, but aircrafts land and they take off from Zamfara. And let me tell you something else. In Zamfara, every container that comes from China ends up in Zamfara. You know why? Because in Zamfara, the soil in Zamfara has all the strategic minerals that you can think of. So when the containers come in from China, they land they end in Zamfara, and a bag of Zamfara soil is today sold at 5,000. So they need to displace the people to allow them to continue with their mining. I mean, it's multifaceted. And these are people that one has been severally accused of harboring terrorists, even recently. And why? Let us ask, why should Shettima be visiting, along with his governor, be visiting and making a solidarity with a police officer that was being tried for drug trafficking? Why? So you begin to put these things together and you begin to understand why Nigerians must retrieve their country. We can't allow this thing to happen.
The woman speaking is Najahatu Muhammad. Najahatu Muhammad is one of the first female political activists from the north. Najahatu Muhammad is a former NANS comrade. Najahatu Muhammad is a member of the APC. She was in their presidential campaign council. Najahatu Muhammad is not a small fry in the Nigerian political firmament. Two things I want us to learn here. Number one, your president has no plan for you. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has no plan for you. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has no plan for me. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has no plan for your children, for my children, for our children, for the children of the society. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has no plan to fix security. Security has now moved from the northeast into the northwest to the north central. It is now in the southwest and parts of the south-south. In fact, we have another dimension of it in the southeast. Look, our highways are infested with criminals and bandits. The president has no plan. This is according to someone who met the president and asked him, what is your plan? The man has no plan. Number two, there are two laws in Nigeria. A law for political leaders in the north and a law for political leaders in the south. But they meet in one place. How can it be that in a country where we are taking oil to feed the nation, oil is being taken from the Niger Delta, exported, and the income is used to take care of everybody, there are governors, according to this woman, who are mining in their states, taking the money, fostering insecurity without contributing that money to the national purse. I have always insisted that the wealth of Nigeria is not in the south, it is in the north. In the north, we find oil. In the north, we find gold. In the north, we find diamond. In the north, we find precious metal. In the north, we find rocks. In the north, you find everything. In the north, you find agriculture. But for some incredible reasons, some leaders have decided to make it a hotbed of terrorism, a hotbed of insecurity, a hotbed of banditry, so that the value the north is supposed to bring to the table cannot come. We will stop it. That is why I support the OK ticket. Mr. Peter Obi has said the treasures of this country are in the north, and he's going to unleash that treasure by, first of all, fixing the security and fixing the economic problems in that part of the country, so that that part of the country can contribute to the general well-being of the country. It is in the interest of the generality of the north that we have a peaceful north that brings prosperity to the common man in the streets. We cannot have a region in the country where we have the highest number of out-of-school children in anywhere in Africa, and even in fact in the world. No single region has that number of out-of-school children like we have in northern Nigeria. No single, even in Ukraine where they are fighting, they don't suffer the kind of insecurity that is being suffered in places like Zamfara, Katsina, even Kaduna. So we have to fix that. And like you have clearly heard from this woman, who is an activist, who is a political activist, who is a comrade, who is a politician, who was even married to a political advisor to former Kano State Governor Abubakar Rimi. This man who is occupying office and asking for second term has no plan. So Nigerians, your destiny is in your hand. Let us work together. North and South, we must come together, because if the money they are taking from all of those exploration in the north is used for the common man in the north, we will not have the kind of situation we have today, where bandits and terrorists have a pool, an endless pool, where they recruit from for their nefarious activities. So please, 2027 present us another unique opportunity. Let us all get ready and save our country. Like she said in her closing remark, let us retrieve our country from the political bandits in Aso Rock, from the political bandits in all the 36 state houses of assembly and 36 state government houses. Once we successfully retrieve our country from those people, the security bandits will naturally die natural death. If there's prosperity for all, you will not have this kind of banditry you are having. But if you have the highest number of poor people in the world inside one country, people must be willing, there will be people who are willing to carry guns and cause problem. You can say no concern you, but they are already in Oyo. A teacher has lost his life. Students are still with them as we speak, and the country is able to do nothing. Please take next year's election personally. Go and get your PVC.
So guys, you have seen what is currently happening in Nigeria. The die is cast. Nigerians are looking for a better country, guys. Nigerians want a country where we have leaders who understand the value of life. You can't tell me that children went to school to study so as to get a better future, only for them to kidnap inside their classroom. As young as 2-year-old were there, 5-year-old were there, 4-year-old little children being kidnapped by terrorists, taken into the bush, guys. This is unbelievable. It's close to 3 weeks now. Those children whereabouts is still unknown. As in, nobody has even said, okay, we know where they are. Now, let me read some of the headlines coming from NSA Ribadu. He said, Oyo residents should stand against deployment of forest guards. Okay, Oyo residents should stand against deployment of forest guards from NSA Ribadu if they love their states. Ribadu is planning to send forest guards. He should go and train the Yorubas, guys. He should go and train the Yorubas. They understand their bushes. They can take care of their bushes, guys. That is what we are saying. This one said, Joshua Bolowatife has come after gospel singer. He told her to shut up and stop giving her followers false hope by claiming okay, these are the people criticizing Christianity. I don't make that kind of news. Sorry for that. Now, this other headline here says, Father, please rescue these kidnapped school children and teachers and bring them back home safely. Pastor Adeboye, General Overseer, prays for the release of abducted school children and teachers in Oyo. Amen. May God answer his prayers. May these children return home safely. And this person say people they protest for Ibadan for free abducted children and teachers. But Tinubu, they do campaign with helicopter flying in Nigeria, guys. This is to tell you that Tinubu's helicopter was spotted yesterday in Lagos carrying Tinubu the flag and Tinubu's campaign banner, guys, in the midst of all this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.